cooking, cooling, and reheating. The way you cook your food is as important as the way you prepare and store it. Inadequate or poor cooking is a common cause of food poisoning. Most foods, especially those that contain meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, need to be cooked thoroughly in order to kill food poisoning bacteria. As a general rule, raw foods from an animal should be cooked until the core temperature is 75 degrees Celsius to ensure that harmful bacteria are destroyed. The food then needs to be kept above 65 degrees Celsius until consumed. In order to prolong the storage time of cooked food, you need to cool the food down quickly until its core temperature is below 5 degrees Celsius. Once the food is cooled, you can store it in a refrigerator for 3 days. As a guideline, you need to cool a dish from 65 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius in a maximum of 2 hours, and then from 20 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius within a further maximum of 2 hours. For example, if you cook a large pot of soup and place it directly in the fridge, it will not cool within 4 hours. The outside of the pot and the soup will be cold, but the core temperature will still be hot. Rather, take the pot of soup and decant it into smaller bain-marie containers. This will decrease the volume of liquid that needs to be cooled, and it will give the soup a larger surface area to cool down. Allow the soup to cool down, covered, for 1 hour at room temperature. Then place it in the fridge for a further 3 hours. At the end of the process, the soup will be below 5 degrees Celsius. If you want food to cool down even faster, you can place it in a bain-marie and put the bain-marie into an ice bath in the refrigerator. If you are struggling to cool food items down, consider the following ideas. Firstly, if you are cooking meat joints, it is better to cook smaller joints of meat. Secondly, when cooling any food in the refrigerator, you need to make sure that there is enough space around the food containers so that the cold air is able to circulate freely around the containers. Thirdly, some establishments have blast chillers, and these help greatly with the cooling system of food. Let's have a look at reheating food. When reheating food for hot holding or immediate consumption, you should reheat the food to a temperature of above 75 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, food poisoning bacteria that may have been present in the food is destroyed. Reheating should be done as quickly as possible, always in less than an hour. This is to minimize the amount of time that food is in the danger zone. You should not reheat food more than once, because if food poisoning is present in the food, then they could multiply to very dangerous levels during the cooling and reheating process, when food is moving from outside the danger zone to back into the danger zone on the way from being hot to cold. They will produce toxins that cannot be destroyed by reheating, so it is critical that we never reheat food more than once. Leftover food that is meant to be served cold should be served within 48 hours. All cooked foods should be stored separately from raw foods. And remember to take extra care with foods such as meat, fish, poultry, egg, and dishes containing milk and cream. If you are ever unsure about the freshness of leftover food, rather throw it out than risk food poisoning. Let's have a quick recap about the 2-hour, 4-hour rule. Remember that it is unsafe for high-risk food to be repeatedly held between 5 degrees and 65 degrees Celsius. and then refrigerate it again. The 2-hour, 4-hour rule is an indication of how long high-risk foods can be at room temperature and still remain safe. Cold food displayed for longer than 4 hours above 5 degrees Celsius needs to be destroyed. Hot food held at hot holding for longer than 2 hours below 65 degrees Celsius needs to be destroyed. Cool cooked food rapidly within 4 hours. And always ensure that your refrigerator is working effectively.